Good evening, developers of Stormworks. There is currently a problem with steam condensers. They overheat, they fail to output any water, and it seems like they accumulate a whole bunch of fluid. To start, I'm going to go ahead, if I go to load game, I have no saves created. I'm going to start off by doing an entire new save. I'm going to go into as in depth as I possibly can with this. Oh, I like to play without AI. I apologize, but this is where's default AI tutorial natural disasters. So disabling all of that just to ensure that number one, this is how I like to play, and let me get control of the wind and weather real quick. Okay. So to start off, I'm going to go into the workbench. I'm going to load up the kind of a little bit of a modified version of the what you call this, the brain work today please, of the demonstration reactor, the reactor preset, basically having these pumps be on constantly. It's the same entire setup from the actual example. So here's the example. Here's the logic of the example. Okay. I have modified the example just a little bit. Here's the logic of this. I have these pumps set to constant on. Pretty much all pumps and fans constant on. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to add... You know what? No, I'm just going to go ahead and... I'm going to do it like this first. Without adding any pumps, anything like that, as far as I believe. So you spawn this thing in. Radiators are pumping their fluid. At least that seems normal. Fluid pumps are pumping fluid in and out of the condenser. The condenser is currently cooling. I believe this started off around 20 degrees. I like to consider this Celsius. Both circulation pumps for the boiler are circulating water in and out of the reactor. Of course, the turbine's off. I'm going to go ahead and lower the fuel, and we're going to start the reactor. We're going to wait for the reactor to warm itself up. I'm also going to chop parts out of this to speed things up a little bit, unless you guys really don't care about watching something this in-depth about it, but we're just going to wait for this to get up to operating temperature. Actually, right now, as ambient heat starts to heat up, you can also notice that number one, the condenser is heating itself up from ambient heat, it seems. I'm not sure if that's normal. I'm not even sure if that's normal right now, but I'm going to consider that as normal. Let's see what temperature that reactor's at. It is up to operating temperature now, so now we're just waiting for the boiler to heat itself up. Again, I'm gonna chop this. I'm gonna chop this all up in the editor. Go to the important parts because I'm pretty sure you guys don't want to sit through all of this. might make two versions of this video, a chopped version and a non-chopped version. Edited and unedited. Condenser's actually heated itself up to, now it's cooling back down. This is the default. This is the default setup. Literally the only thing I did was just link all the pumps to the constant on, so all the pumps are constantly on, all the fans are constantly on. I did not put these angled bits there. This is straight off of the preset. Alright, we're getting there, we're getting there. We're hit 100 degrees. Watch the condensers. Boom. Instantly shoots up to 58 degrees. It is outputting 0 water. There is nothing entering the steam. There's nothing entering the steam boiler. The turbine is spinning. The turbine is receiving steam. The turbine is outputting steam. See, the condenser is receiving steam in. It's accumulating fluid. Temperature is overheating. I don't think a condenser is supposed to get even remotely this hot. And this is with this radiator setup, like, again, straight off of the presets. And this is the result. No water's coming out. No water's going into the boiler. Cap engine overheating disabled, so the boiler will not pop. In fact, these things are designed not to pop. I'm going to go ahead and enable engine overheating, and that doesn't seem to make a difference. Disabling infinite electricity, that also does not seem to make a difference whatsoever. Auto refuel, I should probably have that on. Disabling infinite fuel, that does not seem to make a difference either. Condenser continues to heat, condenser continues to accumulate fluid. It doesn't look like it's putting any water out whatsoever. And this is a serious problem for something that I'm trying to build myself, that I really need the water out of these condensers to maintain condenser water level, stuff like that. This problem is even worse on one of my other builds. On my pressurized water reactor build, condensers go upwards of 90 degrees. You know, I'll even go on by way to show you guys that. But right now, like this is what we got. This is the preset. No pumps beside the coolant pumps and condenser coolant pumps. Walking around it again, there are no pumps. No pumps except for the coolant pumps. We return this thing to the workbench. I am now going to add pumps. I believe these are 2. No, these are 3. I'm gonna add a pump. We're gonna add 1 pump to the condenser output. I'm gonna add 1 pump to the condenser input. I'm going to add 1 pump to the steam output. Just double check because I'm a no-brainer. Okay, just wanted to make sure that was fluid in. Make sure that steam out okay. No, actually, that used to be the other way around. There we go. And then the one on the condenser output. That's pulling water from the condenser, putting it into there. Alright. Now we're going to link these with constant on. Boom. Boom, boom. Now we're going to spawn this thing in again. As is. Pumps are true. Pump is true. Pump is true. Heat the reactor up. It would probably help if I had infinite electricity on. I'm going to keep engine overheating on. Or that. That works. That works too. Let the reactor warm up. I also don't know if you guys can notice, I'm sitting still, and this thing is kind of sliding away from me a little bit. Like, I'm clapping my hands, like I'm not touching my keyboard. This is not me moving. I'm not worried about that though. And condenser's starting to heat up as boiler begins to heat. Okay, reactor is around operating temperature. So says this. Oh, that's cool. Alright, that is up to temperature. Now we just wait for the boiler to heat. And that's putting that, that. Okay. Go around here. Okay, all pumps are true. All pumps are true. I'm gonna go ahead. Nah. Here. I'm interested to see what this is gonna put out. God, my mistake. While the reactor was running previously, I didn't show the radiators. I will this time though, I promise. Okay, we're almost there. Apologies for the background noise. It's hot in this room. Slowly but surely. 7, 8, 9. There's 100. Right to 6. Right to 57. Those are circulating. Those are circulating. Those are circulating. It is receiving steam in, and still it is refusing to output any steam. Or I mean water. No water's coming out. The radiators are staying cold. Their water is circulating through each and every one of them. As far as what I can see from here, they're going the other way. Seems the further away I go, the cooler the radiators are. And that's ultimately the end result. It stopped. It looks like it stopped accumulating fluid. But as of that, I don't see any water flowing out of it. Pumps, show you the pump on the other side. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. got 200 steam in there. Fluid levels continuing to drop. This is still accumulating fluid. Yeah, fluid's going up again. So now I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate this. This is my 4-stage pressurized water reactor build, and right now I had a little debug set up here. I just ripped this, I don't know which one I ripped this one off of actually. Which pipe did I tear this one off of? Okay, I tore it off of this one right here. Alright. So basically how this works is that the steam generators have 9 boilers inside of them. The steam generator fills up with water, and each one of these boilers are rigged up to the reactor feed water. And then each one of them have a fluid port on the end of them to pick up the water from inside the tank. I've already tested this. This works beautifully. This works beautifully. Same thing here. This would be the first tank that I believe, yeah, this would be the first tank that any condensate, that any water would flow into right after the condensers. There are 18 condensers per turbine setup. There are 18 turbines per turbine, all in all giving us a total of 36 boilers, 36 turbines, and 36 condensers. Before a Stormworks update, I promise you guys, this thing was working beautifully until I really swapped over to this, and then that's really when I began to notice the condensers starting to overheat. I even took this condenser setup from the preset reactor and put it on here. It does circulate, it does work, it still fails to keep the condensers cool. So I'm going to go ahead and spawn this thing in so I can demonstrate to you guys the problem that I face on this specific build. This will require me going over here. This is where I have set the spawn. Load. It sucks you guys can't see this, I'm sorry. PWR MK2. Let me just peep this. Edit objects. Just want to make sure this is... Okay, I don't have the debug on this one. So I'm going to go ahead and replace it with the one where I do have the debug set. There it is. I'm going to go ahead and spawn her in. Alright, there it is. Bypass valves should be open. Okay, I haven't touched this thing in a while. So right now, running over to the condensers before I put any water in any of these. But right now, the only steam generator set up for the realistic level is just number 3. It goes 1, 2, 3, and 4. This is the only one I have set up that does this right now. All the others are practically default. So starting off, everything turned off should be condenser temperatures. Condenser temperatures. If I can go over here, please, do this mess of piping. Nothing's on right now. I'm going to go ahead and turn everything on. show you this radiator stack. Everything's off, so now I'm gonna warm everything up, get everything started up, pop this door open. Nothing in any of the condensers, nothing in the hot well. So now we're going to start filling the condenser up. The condenser is that big green tank. Basically, I have a huge reservoir back here. I'll fly into here. There's a huge water reservoir right in here that pumps water into the condenser through these pipes with all the said pumps here. Eventually this thing will just start to fill up. And there goes the water. It's filling up. Is that my fluid meter? That's my fluid meter. I'm gonna let this fill up just a little bit before I go and fill the hot well and fill the condensers. Or then this is the condenser for the hot well. Fill stim generator. English is not my best friend today. Should be plenty actually. Now I'm gonna cycle that into the hot well. And then I have this rigged up to number 1. I have 3 rigged up to number 1, just ignore this right now. Number 1 you should be filling. It would probably help if I got... Okay, let's turn all of the auxiliary pumps on. Condenser cooling pumps, turbo 1 condensers, turbo 1 steam condenser cooling pumps. That fan button's irrelevant, I'm going to remove that one. Everything besides turning gears and generators should be... Okay, now, there it goes. Fill this up to an extent. Come on, come on. Watch your water level rise on that one. Be able to go up there and read that on a gauge. But this is all just in testing right now. I'm gonna further develop this. Alright, now switching all of the feed pumps off. That's the condenser level, that's the capacity. That's the hot well level, that's the hot well capacity. So pay attention to both of the left gauges. There's my steam generator level right now. I am going to warm the reactor up as quickly as possible. In order to do that, I'm going to use all the central rods. That's my reactor period, that's my fuel heating rate. But we're not concerned about that right now. Stop that right there. Now with everything on, just to kind of walk through just a little bit to show that all pumps are true. The only ones that should, yeah, these should be the only ones that should be, these are the only ones that should be false. That one's true for some reason. Oh, those are false. Yeah. Go up here, Guys, these pumps are true, those pumps are true, radiators are on, those are true, those pumps are true. Condenser temperatures right now. Right now the water's coming from the reservoir. So as this reactor heats up and begins to generate steam, as it begins to generate steam, this should really drop. This should drop, and no, not that one. This should drop, should show a significant amount of water flow into the boilers. Mainly, this condenser should rise. If that rises, then that means we are getting water from the condensers into the condenser itself. So just to show you, that's the condenser level physically flying into the condenser itself, over to the fluid meter. Same thing. 26,670. 26,670. Just show you guys that that's actually that condenser tank. I'm continuing to pull the rods out. Okay. Oh, this will more than likely be sped up in the video as well. This thing is being designed with the intent of being as realistic of a simulator as possible. But again, that's not what we're concerned about. There we go. I'm also reading every single condenser or every single boiler temperature. I'm not reading the condenser temperatures. I probably should add another subscreen for that, condenser temperatures, but I'll work through that once I get this sorted out. I have a lot of work to do on it. Alright, we're gonna enable the water return pumps on all of these. Believe that should true these pumps out. No, then that means those are the steam generator feed water pumps. That should be actually. Okay, those are steam generator feed water pumps. Right now I don't have the circulation pumps enabled. Oh, they just scramble. Oh, shh. Ignore that. Ignore that. Dang it. I'm glad I designed this thing with how I did. I didn't think it was going to go that fast. Sheesh. Stopping. Settings adjust the central rod for fine control. Just don't let that period go over 350. I'll keep it until like the hundreds or something. power. Yeah, now it's really starting to send. Mainly getting the reactor hot. Oh, I'm gonna go ahead and number. I'm just gonna go ahead and turn them all on. Why not? I'm gonna also open all of the steam output valves. Okay, we're getting out of limits here. Let's get that back within limits. Reactor should now be at operating temperature. At least it's minimal. I can get this thing going with the reactor at 150 degrees. But now I'm really going to slow this period down. Put that rod halfway in. Okay, that's dropping. We're approaching our peak. Should be approaching our peak soon. As that slows down, we're approaching our peak. Okay, we should now almost be generating steam. Alright, some more generating steam. This is with the bypass valves open. I'm going to close my bypass valves. There we go. We are now spinning. And yeah, instantly 60 degrees on that. No water out at all. This is on the debug one. Let me make sure my reactor stabilizes and doesn't scram again before I... Okay, that's perfect. Perfect. Okay, so everything is running. Condenser level is not going up as it should be. That is dropping, so we are using water inside of the steam generators. So it's good. I'm reading pressures here. Here's my current pressures. I'm reading off of the central boiler on each steam generator right now. Steam generator 3 is the one that's the one right behind the control panel. This is supposed to be steam generator 3. I'm reading number 1 again. Let me get my generators on. Condenser level is not going up. So now that I have everything for the most part stable, that's exceeding 90. No water is coming out. Here's even the pump for that. No water is coming out. And on the one that I have not, on the turbine that I have not set up for that yet, it's pretty much the same predicament. And this is with all the radiators working. Fluid is moving in and out. Fluid is moving in and out. They're getting steam in, but no water. Absolutely no water is coming out. They are accumulating. Yeah. Going back inside. And this one's actually slowing down a bit. speeding up. Yeah, it's slowing down a little bit. Eventually, when these turbines do reach their peak because of the lack in feed water supply back to the steam generators, I will eventually start to drop in output after I peak out. And if I hit the feed water pumps, I just drop in the hot well level, pumping water into the boilers, or water into the steam generator, which is this one over here. Again. It's working beautifully. In fact, I can even show proof that this thing is working because I have all of my pumps piped. Those are all outputting steam. There's steam going through all the valves. These are my main steam isolation valves. Fluids moving through all of them. This is working beautifully. However, the only problem is that there's just no water return. I probably should not have done this. Well, yeah. That's what the boilers are looking like. There is no water return at all. These are for the fill from the hot well, so those should not be putting anything out. Yeah, no water in, steam's coming out, but no water in. Just to show that these are the fill. Actually, hold on a minute. Water in. See, that's also weird because they should be using water right now, but then yet again the condensers aren't outputting anything. To even show here, by all the pumps where the condensers are running right now, they are all true. Nothing. They're upwards of 90 degrees Celsius, accumulating water. All of that water that's accumulating should be going into here. Should be outputting through the pumps into the condenser, and they're not. The radiators are working. They're circulating fluid. Radiators are actually cold, but the condensers are not cooling. They're all true. They are all receiving steam. Nothing. 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 So on, so forth. So on, so forth. Those should be false. Those should be false. That's correct. These are also steam generator feed pumps. These are feed pumps. I have two sets of feed pumps. These pump the water from the condenser over to the hot well. Eventually these will be left on, these will be left on. I'll probably put these pumps inside of here. But again, we're not worried about the design of my plant. We're worried about the actual bugs, so I'm not going to go in depth about that. But nothing. And again, on the one that I have not swapped over, that's spinning at that speed. It feels like this one's spinning faster. And it is spinning a little bit faster. And before, yeah, you see I'm actually slowing down now after I peaked out. Again, 97 Celsius, radiators are cold, radiators are circulating, nothing. And that's the same for all of these condensers as well. true, but nothing out. All of these pumps are true, all of these pumps are true, all of these pumps are true. Any water return line is not returning any water unless it's from something that's already filled with water. This is spinning at its all-time slow, it seems, at 97, pointing out nothing. Radiator is cold, radiator is true, it's receiving fluid, it's circulating, but no water output. So, hopefully that gives you guys a pretty good picture of what's going on. It's the best of my ability that I can show of what's going on right now, other than putting like pressure gauges on the lines and everything like that. That's the absolute best of my ability to show what's going on. 43 minutes in the recording. Hopefully this should make stuff clear. I hope it does, and hope to see it fixed. So again, coming to conclusion, that's what's going on. Hopefully that's a clear explanation. Thank you guys for taking the time to look into this. Good luck.